Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Wednesday, and that means tonight was AEW Dynamite. As far as tonight's Dynamite does go, I'm just going to say it right now, kind of a hit and miss show. I feel like there was a lot of good on the show, but then there's a lot of what the hell is this on the show as well. I have seen mixed reviews of the show on social media as well, so I feel like maybe I'm not the only one that felt this way. Like, there were some things where I'm like, ooh, that was a great match, like Kyle Fletcher and Ricochet. But then you have other things where it's like, what was that Mercedes segment? What was that Mariah May segment? Like, come on. Moxley, what are you doing? You bringing in Shane McMahon? You're starting a new BCC? You and Marina Shafir? Like, what? And then the Bryan stuff at the end, it's like, okay, it was good until it was Jack Perry. Like, Bryan doing the whole thing of, I ain't done until I lose the belt, and I ain't losing this belt anytime soon. Predictable, but awesome, because he delivered it well. Then doing the whole, there's a lot of young guys in the back, and I want to defend my title against one of them. First come, first serve for All Out, and then it's Jack Perry. And I know what they want. They want Jack Perry to do all the CM Punk references and to get the big boos and heat in Chicago. That's exactly what this is. But it's like the TNT champion going for the world title. Why? It's like, I'm not a fan of it. And I saw other people say they're not a fan of Jack Perry being the challenger as well. So we'll see how it plays out. We have one more Dynamite. We have 2 collisions, 2 rampages, probably getting no follow-up on either of those shows. So we got, like I said, one more Dynamite to build up Jack Perry as the challenger for the World Championship. Like, what? The what? But with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to help us out on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos, that way you know when we go live, and that way you know when we post to the community tab. If you want to support the channel even more, you can become a channel member by hitting the join button. Hit that join button to become a channel member, even if it's just at the $1 tier. Whether you do that on YouTube or at patreon.com/PWU Unlimited, we greatly appreciate it. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use our code PWU Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting that Callisto Protocol, which is free for another couple of hours. You only got till tonight or tomorrow morning. You also got Gigantic. It is Gigantic. What version is it? There's a special version of it. I can pull it up right here. Excuse me. I could try to pull it up if it wants to. Gigantic Rampage Edition. Gigantic Rampage Edition. Go claim that game and get it for free. Free. Off the Epic Game Store. Maybe you're trying to get that new Iron Spider skin for Fortnite. Or maybe you're waiting till December. You want to download on the Epic Game Store. You want to download Marvel Rivals. Use our code PWU Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Also, remember, tomorrow the new free games are Wildcard Football and Fallout Classic Collection. But as far as Dynamite does go, and I want to say thank you to Esports Gaming Rules for the bit donations. He says, oh boy, get ready for chaos in AEW because Shane O'Mac is coming and we will be watching, even WWE fans too. Now, we don't know that. That is the perception. That is the prediction. That is what people are thinking. But we don't know if that's what Moxley's actually bringing. If Moxley is bringing in Shane McMahon. Also, no Luke tonight. He had prior commitments. So we start the evening with the surprise of Jon Moxley, who we haven't seen in 2 months since Forbidden Door. The crowd reacted loudly for Moxley, who used his Death Rider theme, and you knew something was up. Something was different. He walked down to the ring. Tony Schiavone was in the ring waiting for him, and he got an interview. Schiavone started right away by asking if Moxley was all right and how he's doing. Moxley said that he was doing a lot of thinking of late while he was gone, and that he was looking for a man who wasn't here. But it was a conversation he needed to have. Somebody who was not like him, but somebody who was like him at the same time. That's Darby Allin. He then said, Darby, I'm not hard to find. Schiavone then tried to send it back to commentary when Moxley would cut him off again. And he told Schiavone this wasn't his company anymore and walked off. And I'm like, what? This isn't your company anymore. Are you trying to say that you're changing things in AEW? You bringing somebody in? Is he now the big super heel that wants to take over or bring in somebody to take over? Now, we thought if they were to bring in Shane McMahon and they do the hostile takeover kind of storyline, it would be with the Elite because that would make a lot of sense. But if that's what this is now with Moxley, what the what? And I'm not saying Moxley is bringing in Shane McMahon, but I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying that's what people are thinking. That's what I got from the segment as well. But we really don't know. We really don't know what all this really means. So we'll have to wait and see how long it actually does play out. But we do know that Moxley has aligned himself with Marina Shafir, as we see later. And I mean, is the big question now is what's the BCC? Is Moxley still associated with the Blackpool Combat Club? That's one of the bigger questions we have to ask as well. So the conglomeration was being interviewed backstage by Renee Paquette regarding their match tonight, or matches actually. Briscoe said that Tomohiro Ishii was going to whoop some cowboy ass, while the rest of the group would take care of business in the big 8-man tag. Willow then said that she was going to challenge Chris Statlander to a Chicago street fight at All Out with the championship on the line, but because of the nature of the match, CMLL won't actually sanction the match. So here's my question. If CMLL won't sanction the match in storyline, does this match even count as Chris Statlander's title shot? Chris Statlander, factually earned herself a title shot at the CMLL Women's World Championship. So if the match is not sanctioned by CMLL, does this count as the title shot or not? Honestly, I don't think it should. I don't think that this should count as the title shot if it is a non-sanctioned match by CMLL. Just my opinion. Briscoe then said the word of the day is indefatigable, which meant unable to feel fatigue, which is what we'd see later tonight. Ishii then walked off ahead of his big match with Hangman Page. So these two had a great match, but I'm just like, why? Why did Hangman face Ishii? We got the big segment afterwards, setting up the cage match for All In with him and Swerve, but it's like, why did we need this match? Why did Hangman have to face Ishii? One of them weird Tony Khan decisions. One of them weird Tony decisions. Anyways, also, speaking of Hangman, there are now 3 people in this company with the quote-unquote same motive. Hangman, MJF, Daniel Garcia. They all 3 have the same motive of, I hate this guy. I want to whoop his ass and I'll do anything to take everything from him. Hangman wants to do that to Swerve. MJF wants to do that to Ospreay, and Daniel Garcia wants to do that to MJF. Like, come on. You're 3 in the same almost. But I don't get it. Regardless, this match was great. This match was awesome. So they met in the middle of the ring and started elbowing each other before they did a big old chop battle that neither man really tried to sell. The exchange lasted until Page pushed Ishii into the corner. Ishii then countered a shoulder block. We then had the 2 men exchanging more chops. We go to a break. When we return to live action, Page dropped Ishii with a DDT head first on the apron, and this man just stood there like this upside down. Or not really stood, but you know what I mean. So Page threw Ishii back into the ring and went to the top, connecting with a clothesline, but got a 2 off of it only. Page remained in control as he worked over Ishii's leg with a submission. In the corner, Ishii fired back up by absorbing Page's blows before flooring him with a headbutt. He then landed a back suplex on Paige for a near fall. Ishii was now in control as he set Paige up on the top rope. Ishii then headbutted Paige to stun him and then hit an impressive looking superplex. This got a very close 2 count for Ishii. Paige then slammed Ishii with a Death Valley driver, but he got rocked with the Ishii German suplex in response. Another exchange of strikes between the two men ended in a double down spot as we go to yet another commercial break. Dynamite will return with a slugfest as Ishii and Paige exchanged counters and big moves as well. Paige eventually got the upper hand after hitting a German suplex. As he then headed to the apron, he hit a buckshot. Well, tried to hit a buckshot lariat, but Paige was countered into a Deadeye variant kind of move by Ishii. He then got flattened with a strong style lariat and got a 2 off of it. Ishii then headbutted Paige, who responded with a discus elbow. More hard-hitting action from both men saw Paige take over with a hard strike, followed by a Deadeye. He had Ishii positioned for the buckshot and finished him and pinned him 1, 2, 3. So good opening match. I liked it a lot. I think these two worked very well together. And then Hangman grabbed a mic. Hangman grabbed a mic, but before he can really say anything, Swerve would come out and interrupt. Swerve basically said, "I'm still champion," when no, you're not. He then said, "Whose house is it?" And they said, "Swerve's house." And I'm like, I thought it was Soraya's house. This is my house, bitch. I don't know. Whose house is it? Is it Swerve's house or is it Soraya's house? Anyways, Swerve was like, "I did everything I needed to be at the top and win the world champion. I'm still a champion." And Paige is like, "You ain't got a belt. You're not a champion. What are you talking about?" And I'm like, so if Swerve is still the champ, that mean Hangman's still the champ? I hate that line where they're like, "I got beat for the belt, but I still consider myself the champion." That's such a stupid line in wrestling. Because no, you're not the champion anymore. Strickland talked about how he could have gotten mad at Paige getting involved at All In, but he feels sorry for Paige instead. Strickland said that he saw that Paige was about to have another child. He watched as he held his wife's hand and helped her down the steps to the car with his first child. And I'm like, whoa. Hangman had another baby? When did Hangman have another baby? Swerve just like announced that to the world? Is that why Hangman took time off earlier this year? That makes sense. Also, thank you to DSS2K2 for the raid. Really do appreciate that on Twitch. Let's get a shout out here. SSK2, K2. It didn't want to do a shout out. Give me one. Let me try it one more time. Shout out. DSS. Oh, I did it wrong. 2K2. There we go. Get that shout out. We'll follow DS. So these two are jaw jacking back and forth. Swerve lets it out that Hangman had another baby. And then Strickland said, Paige, meanwhile, is becoming too obsessed with Swerve says, which has caused his career to go up in flames. According to the former AEW World Champion, Strickland is still the man in this business. Strickland then said, Hangman then said, "You may have technically beat me, but you really never beat me by yourself. First time you needed Prince Nana. Second time you needed Prince Nana and Brian Cage. And the third time we went to a time limit draw. You've never beat me by yourself, which makes me better than you." Swerve then said, "You want to do it just me and you, nobody else? But a cage match at All Out." Paige kind of, I guess you could say, accepted. And then Swerve said, "Now, the big question is, what kind of a man are you going to be in that cage? No, better yet, what kind of a man are you going to show your children in that cage?" Paige then walked off angrily to the back. Interesting setup here. So it's like we got Christian, who is obsessed with people's dead dads, and we've got Swerve, who is obsessed with people's kids. When are we getting somebody obsessed with somebody's mom and then somebody's siblings? Like it's coming, right? Somebody obsessed with somebody's mom and somebody obsessed with somebody's siblings. Like it's got to be coming, right? Like, yeah, no, maybe. Next up, we had Jamie Hayter versus Harley Cameron. This was an okay match, not all that great. At first, this match starts off and I go, Harley Cameron's good at making her opponent look good. And as I thought that, Harley Cameron botched the Stratisfaction. I think it's what that move is. The bulldog bounce off the ropes thing. She botched the shit out of it. And I go, never mind, I take it back. Van Shannon, welcome back to Jamie Hayter. As the match started with Cameron gaining a slight momentum, Hayter then fought back and stomped Cameron in the corner before flooring her with a clothesline. Cameron escaped Hayter's attempted slam as she attacked with kicks to the face. Hayter then used her strength to block a springboard bulldog attempt. I guess really more looked like Harley Cameron messing it up. Cameron then hit with a big boot. She blocked a soul food attempt and repeatedly hit multiple backbreakers, Hayter that is, on Cameron before she ended it with a Haterade lariat for the 3. Bing, bang, boom. Jamie Hayter gets the win. Saraya then gets in the ring to check on Harley. Jamie bows up to both of them. Saraya shoves Harley into Jamie and then bails. We're getting Jamie Hayter and Saraya here probably pretty shortly. Maybe all out. I don't know exactly if that's win, but maybe all out. But Jamie Hayter looked good. But also, it's like you face Harley Cameron. Randy McKay was backstage with Chris Jericho, The Learning Tree, and Roderick Strong. She asked Big Bill about the positive reaction he got in the UK. He said that the fan reactions are like the leaves. They change, and the fall is coming. We can see the colors change here soon. Jericho did the shtick. Hi, guys. I'm proud of Hook. Roderick then went, Chris! I'm proud to be in the Jericho Vortex, even if it's for one night. And I'm like, this motherfucker's... Roderick Strong's a great in-ring wrestler. What is his character? What is his gimmick? I don't even know. Does he want Jericho's help to take out Orange Cassidy because he doesn't think Kyle O'Reilly is a better man for being with Orange Cassidy? He's upset. Here's another guy. We got 4 who's just solely obsessed with another man. There's 4 of them. I didn't even think of Roderick Strong. So, Jericho said Cassidy would pay for ruining his $7,000 suit a couple of years ago, which was during the pandemic era of AEW. And Brian Keek walked off and said, you'll pay the damn price. Also, remember, guys, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can either donate Twitch bits in the live chat on Twitch or a super chat on YouTube. So we got a recap. Will Ospreay's win over MJF, bringing back the International Championship, and Daniel Garcia's involvement as well, which was very minimal, but they made it seem like Daniel Garcia actually did a lot more than he did. So MJF came out, got a promo that I didn't actually enjoy. I thought, as MJF would say, this was very mid at best. Came out wearing all black and white, basically, all black and gray. His neck was all taped up. He said he's got 2 herniated discs in his spinal cord, and that he's in a lot of pain. He's got a splitting headache. He said the fans, he then said, I won't speak if you guys make too much noise. And then the fans like kind of said shut the fuck up, but really didn't. He said that he lost his championship, he lost his diamond ring, and he got injured. He said, now I denounce my American citizenship, and he didn't want to associate with a country like this anymore, other than, well, the most magical place on God's green earth, Plainview, Long Island, New York. And I go, oh, okay. So the mid plain ass guy cutting this promo is from a plain city. Yeah, it makes sense. MJF's usually so much better than he was tonight. I felt like he was off his game a little bit with his promo. MJF said that he was sick of the fans living in lies, and that AEW without him was nothing more than a circus. He turns his attention to Will Ospreay, as he claimed that Will Ospreay cheated to win. And this isn't over yet. He warned Ospreay that just as he was close to winning the greatest prize in history in the future, he's going to take it all away from him. He said, I know Will, old Billy Boy, is going to want to go for that world title. And right when he's about to win it, I'm going to take it all from him. I'm going to cut him down at the knees with a smile on my face. He then threatens Daniel Garcia. But as he does, out comes Daniel Garcia and attacks him from behind. Garcia applied a guillotine and choked out MJF before a bunch of people came down to break it up. He lifted MJ up, and then it kind of got weird. So he lifts MJF up, and he's going to go for the pile driver, and then he stops himself. And he kind of like stops. He looks around, and he's waiting, and then he goes over to the corner. Puts MJF on the top rope. He looks like he's going to do the pile driver off the top rope, but he pauses again. He looks around and he's waiting, and then eventually everyone comes down to stop him. He gets away from that, puts him on another rope, waiting, and then eventually they get Max out of there and everything, and they're holding him back and whatnot. He grabs a microphone, and he challenges MJF to a match at All Out. He would then, from the ring, up the ramp, throw the microphone at MJF. Now, did he hit MJF? I think he might have, but I could be wrong. And MJF got so pissed off that he I don't know if it was a shoot pissed off or just storyline pissed off, but he bolts down the ramp, jumps, and all the security and everybody catches him. By the end, this was all right. For the most part, this was kind of meh. Also, Garcia said, you want to know what happened to that diamond ring? I took it, and I pawned it in Buffalo, New York for a round-trip airline ticket to London, England, so I can screw you over or something like that. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. So you stole the ring. How? Because the way Max played it off was like he had the ring and lost it in London. So that's how they played the story off. So yeah. I don't know. Weird. Better recap of Ricochet's debut. Then we got the 8-man tag team match. It's just a match. Nothing special at all. Hook and Jericho started it off what we thought until Jericho tagged in Brian Keith, which led to Cassidy being tagged in as the conglomeration had the advantage early on. Briscoe worked over Keith before Big Bill entered the match. Bill avoided Briscoe's attack and responded with some hard chops on the chest. Briscoe was left isolated in the Learning Tree's corner as things broke down with all 8 men fighting in the ring as we go to a break. Back from the break, Jericho was working over Cassidy against the ropes. Cassidy then escaped. This was dumb. I hated this spot. So, Jericho's got Orange Cassidy in the full Nelson. Orange Cassidy's like, I'm trying to get my fingers in the hands, in the pockets. And he ever so slightly gets closer and can't get it. And then he gets closer and can't get it. He finally gets the hands in the pockets and he gets out of the move. And it just gets a little weird. Because there's a lot of times where it's like, man, this guy can do some cool things with his hand without you having to use his hands. But this one was weird because he gets knocked down. He does the drop kick, so he takes the bump with his hands still in his pockets. And then it's like his hands get caught in his pockets for some reason or something. I don't know what. But he's fiddling with his hands in his pockets, and then Big Bill comes over to do the elbow drop, and he moves. He's still fiddling with his hands and whatnot. I'm like, what are you? Yeah, this looked weird and awkward. The whole hands in the pocket spot. Everyone knows that I used to not like Orange Cassidy, but the more and more I see Orange Cassidy, I go, no, this guy's great. This guy is a really good athlete and great professional wrestler. I didn't care for or get the gimmick at first. I still don't like the little kicks. I still don't like that. You got to give it up to this man for some of the things he does without having to use his hands and whatnot. It's great. Anyways. Briscoe was cleaning house on one point on the heels before Strong snuck up and hit a patented backbreaker on him. Learning Tree regained the advantage as they isolated Briscoe from his corner and worked him over for a bit. O'Reilly then got the tag in and was a house of fire until Big Bill found his way into the match and unleashed his own fury on his opponents. Cassidy was flattened with an amazing super spinning black hole slam by Bill that sent us to another break. When we returned, O'Reilly being sized up by Big Bill, Bill had the advantage. Strong then tagged in, but Hook found his way into the match. Hook then threw Strong with an overhead throw, then followed this up with a T-bone suplex on Big Bill. It's like back in the day, little old Taz throwing around big old Mike Awesome. There's a Northern Light suplex pin that attempted by Hook, but it got broke up by Brian Keith. There's an orange punch attempt as well, but blocked by Keith. Briscoe then threw him out of the ring. Jericho then cracked Briscoe with a running lariat and teased doing a dive to the outside, but he stopped and waved to the fans instead. Hook then threw him with a suplex as we saw successive dives from Cassidy and Briscoe to the outside. In the ring, Strong and Hook were going at it, last 2 men in the ring. Hook countered an end to Heartache into the red rum. Strong's foot was then underneath and on the rope. But then he taps. And the ref calls for the end. So I don't know if the ref messed up Old Aubrey and this wasn't supposed to be the finish, or if it really was supposed to be the finish. Because if this was supposed to be the finish, this was a stupid finish for what we get next. We get the rest of the Undisputed Kingdom coming down and attacking Hook. for eventually Roderick Strong to stand tall with the FTW Championship. This man just, this was so dumb. If this was the actual finish and Aubrey didn't mess up the finish, this man literally just tapped out to the FTW champion, and now he's going to challenge for the title. He wants the belt? Huh? How does this make any goddamn sense? How does this make any sense? You just lost to Hook, the FTW champion. Then you beat him up and you go, I want the belt. What? Yeah. Another weird Tony decision. I should make a shirt. It says WTD, weird Tony decisions. I made one back in the day that said weird Vince decisions. Sold a couple of them. Maybe I should make one for AEW. Backstage, this sucked. Mercedes Moné. Boy, did this suck. So Mercedes is there. She's having a little party. She's got Camille with her. And she's like, CEO, CEO. Camille and nobody in this party is chanting with her. You would think if this was her party, everybody would be chanting with her. CEO, CEO. But yeah, no. They couldn't even get these goddamn extras to chant with her. Then, Private Party come up. And Mark Quinn's like, so you got that New Japan Strong Women's Championship. You're going to defend it this weekend at Capital Collision against Momo Watanabe. He's like, that's cool. And then Isaiah Cassidy walks up and goes, I like your look. I like that red dress on you, but it looked better on top of me. And I'm like, this man just told Mercedes, I want to fuck you. This man just told Mercedes, I want to fuck you. And Okada walks up. Okada walks up and Mercedes goes, Okada-san, can you tell me in Japanese how to say, bye, bitch? And he whispers in her ear and she goes, sayonara, bitches. They walk off. Mercedes then, like, the thing she takes the shot, I can't remember. And then she does the CEO chant again with nobody else doing it. CEO, CEO. And Okada's like, yeah, yeah. This is what dreams are made of. And I'm like, Okada's was the redeeming quality deal in all of this. Okada dancing at the end, just happy to be there, was great. Everything else was just get it off my TV. That bad. That bad. This was horrible for the most part. Horrible. And then someone goes, oh no, all it was to promote the New Japan show on Friday. You know what I remember by the time this was over? Until I got that tweet like 5-6 minutes later, I'd forgotten they even mentioned the New Japan show. All I remember was Isaiah Cassidy wanting to fuck Mercedes and Okada dancing. If this was supposed to be a way for them to say, hey, watch Capital Collision on Friday, well, they did a bad job of it. Because by the time this segment was over, I forgot they even mentioned that show, that title, and that match. So, yeah. Then we go back to back with another dumbass segment. This sucked as well. Tony Schiavone's on the ramp, and he introduces the new AEW Women's World Champion, Mariah May. Mariah May comes out. She's got a robe on, and she's like holding it all tight. And you go, oh, was she naked under there? What are we supposed to think? And Tony Schiavone's like, so I want to introduce our new, and he's all flustered, AEW Women's. And she's like, Tony, I am the new AEW Women's World Champion, the Glamour, Mariah May. She then says, you know, my championship celebration, fortunately, has been postponed. Because I will not do it here in this town, even though it's called Champagne. She said it should be called Flat and Stale Warm Beer or something like that. May then said, I'm all woman, and this town has some bad-looking women or something like that. And she goes, so take a look. You're only going to see this once. And she unrobes, well, she's just got like lingerie or whatever on, the belt, and then she closes it and goes, that's all you get to see, and then she leaves. We get this big, long storyline, probably the best build they've done for almost any match in this company. New champion at the pay-per-view, and this was the follow-up? This was all we got? Mariah coming out going, I'm the champion. I'm better than this city. Bye. That was it? What the hell did we see? Nothing about Toni Storm, nothing about a next challenger, what she's going to do next. It's just, I'm pretty, I'm the champion. Bye. What? So dumb. So freaking stupid. So we got some remarks from the Grizzled Young Vets. They first showed a video that actually we saw on social media already with the Young Bucks. And they said backstage, they cut another promo. And they said, we're going to be on Rampage this weekend, and we want to challenge any tag team that wants to fight us, because then we'll show what we're really all about. That was really it. They then told us on Rampage, actually, they gave us a hype video, hyping up Konosuke Takeshita's impressive run in the G1, which it really was. And then said on Rampage, we're getting a four-way match: Takeshita, the Beast Mortis, Lio Rush, and Commander. This then led to an awesome match between Ricochet and Kyle Fletcher with Don Callis on commentary. So I love this match. I thought this match was great. But I have seen people going, look, Ricochet already having better matches than he did in his entire WWE career. And I go, this match was good, but it ain't no better than if he would have faced like Sami Zayn or Carmelo Hayes or something in AEW. Like, other than the dive off the barricade, which probably would have done in WWE, he did all of his same WWE stuff. And then won with a inverted DDT. Like, what? He didn't even win with the shooting star or the 630 or anything. He didn't even do the 630. He jumped off top rope once, which is weird. As far as the match does go, Fletcher and Ricochet shoved one another early on to a standoff. Ricochet then did a series of impressive dodges, and Fletcher sent himself outside with a somersault dropkick. He feigned doing a running dive and then did his little superhero pose thing, Ricochet that is, in the middle of the ring. Fletcher avoided a dive from Ricochet and responded with a tope suicida of his own. Fletcher then sent Ricochet over the barricade with a running boot into the crowd. He then taunted the crowd and made it look like he was going to jump over the barricade himself, and then Ricochet jumps up on the barricade and hits him with a springboard, a Meteora on the floor. We go to a break. As we return to our main event match, Ricochet attempted to fight back after Fletcher took the advantage. Fletcher snuffed out the attack and placed Ricochet on the top turnbuckle. We then got a standoff between the two, but Ricochet won with a headbutt and won it out with a headbutt off the top rope. Then laid out Fletcher with a springboard clothesline. Both men then slugged it out to their feet as a chance for Ricochet came through the crowd. Ricochet then caught Fletcher with a springboard body strike. There was an enziguri that was followed up by a Northern Lights suplex final cut combo, and Ricochet then went for a shooting star, maybe, I don't know. And Kyle Fletcher got the feet up. Fletcher then ran through Ricochet with repeated clotheslines and took him down hard. Ricochet responded with a rolling drop kick that sent Fletcher to the outside. Ricochet then threw himself into Fletcher through the ropes. It was like a Darby Allin style dive. Like, no big Ricochet move. We didn't see like the Fosbury flop or the big, front flip dive from Ricochet. He was very tame for the most part. He did some cool stuff, but I felt like Ricochet was kind of tamed down a little bit. Ricochet's dive was intercepted at one point. Another dive by a Fletcher boot as he got draped with a brainbuster for a near fall. Fletcher then sized Ricochet up with a running drop kick and attempted his belly to back tombstone. Ricochet then landed on his feet and kicked Fletcher in the head, followed up by a DVD. Again, only a near fall. Ricochet finally got the win after finishing Fletcher with what they called the vertigo, a lifting inverted DDT. And that's it. It was over. Great match, but it was like, that was it? That felt like Ricochet in WWE. It felt nothing different. So if that's it, and all these people go, Ricochet is going to have bangers, and Ricochet is going to do better in every match than he ever did in WWE. It literally felt like Ricochet in WWE, which means that we just got the real Ricochet that whole time basically in WWE. Afterwards, Will Ospreay would come out on the stage, microphone in hand. He stared down at Ricochet in the ring. Commentary talked about their history, and then, Pac would run out from behind and hit Will Ospreay with the Poison Rana. Pac then grabbed a microphone and told Ospreay, "Don't forget about me. Don't forget about the bastard." He then said, "Ricochet, I would like to welcome you here to AEW. Now get to the back of the line where you belong. I'm next." We then see John Moxley backstage. We got some producer or cameraman going, Mox, can you give us more clarification on what you said earlier? What does that really mean?" And he grabs the guy and he's like, "We need to..." He didn't really catch what he said, but he grabbed a guy, said something to the guy, and then Marina Shafir appeared, beat the guy up. Moxley then said this was a lesson in humility. Then they walked off. Marina then shoved the camera guy to the ground, and she walked off as well. What is this? Is Moxley now starting a new group? him and Marina. They're going to recruit somebody else. I don't know what this is. I'm so flabbergasted. I'm so like confused on what this Moxley thing is. Wanted to talk to Darby. Then he says he's changing things here in AEW. And, yeah. With that, we got our main event segment of the night. It was the world champion Bryan Danielson coming down to the ring to a great "You Deserve It" chant from the crowd. Danielson started by saying, after trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing, he is finally the AEW world champion, and it feels so good. And I go, oh, somebody's smarting this guy up, because he kept saying, I don't really care about the belt. Yeah, I'm challenging for the title, but it's not what I really care about. I'm like, yeah, someone's smarting this fool up. He said that over 50,000 people in Wembley Stadium, his family, saw the biggest moment in his career. And that his daughter said it was the best day of her life. And then he goes, but earlier in the day before the show, she did take a Peppa Pig double-decker tour of the city. So maybe that was why it was her best day. I laughed so hard. As a father myself, I laughed pretty hard at that one. He then said that he went backstage and saw all of his peers congratulating him as well, and knew that this was the greatest moment, the biggest moment of his entire career. Bryan then said afterwards, he went to the press conference and was asked, what's next? Danielson leveled with us, and so my AEW contract expired on August 1st. I need neck surgery, probably sooner rather than later, and my family, well, they're ready for me to come home. Because I love professional wrestling. I've loved it my entire life, and I love that AEW exists because it made pro wrestling better, and his life better as well, which is not wrong. AEW existing forced WWE to do different things that they were doing, to not be as complacent. So AEW existing was better for the business. He then said, it's not time for him to go home yet, because he is a fighting champion and will not quit until he is no longer the champion. He will fight for this title and defend this title as often as he needs to, as hard as he can. Again, however, if he loses the belt, then it's all over. But until then, he's got a lot of heads he needs to kick off in the back. Danielson then said, we got a lot of young, hungry talent in the back. So I'm laying out an open challenge for All Out. Whoever wants to come challenge me for this belt, first come, first serve. Jack Perry, the TNT champion, then appears on the screen. Perry said that my future, I know what it is. You really don't. And my future is to be the world champion and retire the American Dragon. He said that Danielson's future is behind him. And then he attacks Danielson from behind in the ring. Perry hit a devastating running knee on Danielson and raised both the TNT and World Championships to end the show, standing over a downed Bryan Danielson. So my big question is, who the hell cares about this main eventing All Out? Who really cares about Jack Perry, the TNT champion? And I'm not against him being TNT champion. I think he's cool, great as the TNT champion. I like Jack Perry being pushed the way he is. But he hasn't been pushed in a way to be a world title challenger in the least bit. Yeah, he beat Darby in a coffin match, and Darby is someone who is a number one contender right now. So it's like, I get where some people have said, oh, it makes sense. He beat the current number one contender, so he should be a number one contender. I don't know if that's exactly how it works, but let me know what you guys think. Are you cool and excited and hyped up for Bryan Danielson's first defense at All Out to be against freaking Jack Perry? But with that, let's get the poll going on Twitch really fast. What did you think of Dynamite? I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. Let's get that poll going as we check the other polls. But yeah, some weird stuff. The Mercedes segment sucked. The Mariah May segment sucked. We got a fun 8-man tag, but for what? For what reason? It's literally the conglomeration in somebody against Roderick Strong and a bunch of randos every week. It's the same match you see all the freaking time. As far as the threads poll does go, 75% liked the show. 25% thought it was just all right. Look at the Twitter X poll. 46% liked the show. Dang. 28% didn't like the show, and 25% thought it was just all right. Looking at the YouTube community poll, 66% liked the show, 21% thought it was just all right, and 12% didn't like it. We got one comment here that says, I really enjoyed it. I'm very intrigued with the Mox Shafir stuff. Not going to lie. I mean, I'm intrigued a little to see where it's going, but I'm like, what? I'm more confused than anything. And as far as the live poll does go, 64% liked the show, 26% thought it was just all right, and 10% didn't like it. And then as far as the Twitch poll does go, 50% liked it, 50% thought it was just all right. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. David Harrison says, I thought Christian Cage was going to be the challenger. So Christian Cage is a number one contender, but winning the Casino Gauntlet means he can cash in and challenge whenever he wants. They never said that was happening at All Out. We will be back live on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Then we got Bash in Berlin on Saturday, which remember, it's an earlier in the day show. We will be going live a little earlier than normal for pay-per-views. And then we got Sunday, NXT No Mercy, which is a normal timed premium live event. Then we got Monday Night Raw, starting it all over again next week. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.